Hello, everyone. I hope you are having an absolutely beautiful Wednesday. I'm the Grey Strega, and I'm here to give you tarot readings for today, Wednesday, October 4th. I'm really looking forward to being here and sharing this time with all of you today, being able to do as many readings as possible in the time allowed. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. To give you a little indication of who I am a claircognizant tarot reader that's based in the United States. I've been doing this for about 30 years. Typically, I do life path readings. So the messages that I provide as it relates to tarot will give you indications on where you are in your life path and recommendations and advice in terms of moving forward. I'm looking forward to reading for all of you today. If you have a question, I encourage you to go ahead and put it in the comments. And again, I really appreciate you guys taking the time today. Hope you've been having an absolutely beautiful day. Hope you've been enjoying your Wednesday. Again, looking forward to it. Welcome to everybody joining us today. Hello there, Kim. Hope you're doing well today. Happy to start with you today. Hello there, Stace. How are you doing today? Welcome, and thank you so much for having me today. Hi there, Terry. How are you doing today? Welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here, sharing your time and energy with the collective. Hello there, Heather. How are you doing today? Welcome, everybody that is joining us today. We have been doing a lot of work. We were actually just recently over on TikTok. We just completed doing a lot of reading over there. Typically, if you're looking to find me on the day-to-day, you can often find me over on TikTok, where we do our daily collective reads every day, giving you the breakdown of the divine feminine and divine masculine energies for the day. What do I say when I mean masculine and feminine energy? Bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. Specifically, these are energies that are within both of us, all of us. They do shift on occasion. So if you'd like a full breakdown of that, you can always encourage you to follow me on my YouTube, Grey Strega. You can also find me on TikTok, Grey Strega. I only have one account there. Please keep that in mind. And I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. Hello there, Charlotte. Good evening. Welcome to everybody joining us. So if you would like a reading, I would encourage you to just put your question in the comments. Typically, I ask that we do general readings. I always advise that messages from Spirit for your highest path are always recommended. If you have a specific question, I'm happy to give you insight on that as well. Please keep in mind there are some things I don't read for, which are pregnancy, medical, or legal. Hi there, how are you doing today, Deidre? Oh, I am so happy to read for you on that question. For those who are joining us, Deirdre is asking, she tells us that she is new here. Welcome. I believe I'm going through a spiritual awakening and feel troubled, and I don't know what to do next. I'm very happy to give you some insight on that question. Why don't we get started? Can I please have 3 cards for Deirdre as it relates to the spiritual journey that they find themselves on? 3 cards for Deirdre, please. And one more. Thank you so much. What do we have coming through right now? Deirdre, what I'm effectively seeing right now is I can see where some of this anxiety may be rising through, specifically because I think that one of the things that's very important as it relates to your life path at this time is that there's a point of recalibration that's effectively happening. What we're really seeing right now is something about your particular moment that you're having on your spiritual path. It's not just the fact of where you find yourself at this time, but what we're really observing is there's something that is more coming to a surface. And this is what we often identify when we come into these moments of spiritual awakening. Because those spiritual awakening moments, I need to stress, we often think that it's just going to be kind of this massive download that comes as it relates to where we find ourselves in this exact moment. But what I'm actually seeing is potentially happening right now for you, particularly on your own unique journey, is the fact that it's actually allowing for this point or degree of recalibration to occur, having to effectively observe the past experiences in order to reorient them in terms of where you find yourself on the journey. This is effectively why we call it an awakening. It's a point of observation that we effectively identify that suddenly brings about a sense of clarity, not only on our own self and our own purpose, but also often goes, it almost retroactively adds itself to our past experiences. It helps us build a better narrative that helps articulate why things had to happen the way that they did and how they've effectively led us to the path that we find ourselves on today. I'm seeing here that there's some of that moment that you're effectively seeing right now, because it may actually feel like a lot of that awakening is actually feeling like it's awakening to those situations and circumstances from the past. If you're going through this, I'd like to articulate that this is completely normal. I feel like this is almost a process that I'm identifying right now that's helping you navigate and recalibrate some of the grief or the burden that you've been carrying thus far. And while I am identifying right now, I'm almost seeing this point that you're really asking yourself, like, what do I do with this knowledge? What do I take from it? How do I push forward on this? I need to stress here that this is often something that we often see in these awakening cycles, if we want to call them that, as it were, because specifically, I think the major message that is coming through a spirit is that what you choose to do at this moment is effectively your path. When we come into these experiences, it is that moment of understanding, that point of clarity that we reach, that is actually the point of the process. And having those points of uncertainty or a lack of clarification is effectively a totally normal thing to be feeling right now, because more than anything, it is being able to take those experiences now with the narrative and understanding of where you find yourself so that you can move more effectively going forward. Bottom of the deck for this message for today is the Nine of Cups in its reversal. So I recognize and understand that sometimes these moments can feel very overwhelming. I'm sure that you're feeling a lot of these energetic shifts internally right now. Being able right now to find that point of balance is going to be key. When you're feeling any moment of uncertainty, I want you to remember that those are the options and the opportunities to really ground yourself. Find that point of grounding and let that help guide your path. Thank you so much, Deirdre, for having that reading with me today. And for anyone else who is also sharing in this message, thank you as well. I firmly believe that those who are here also need these messages, and I appreciate you also accepting your message. We are going to continue right now. If there's anyone else who would like to have a reading, just go ahead and put it in the comments, and I will be happy to read for you. Again, welcome to everybody joining us today. I'm the Grey Strega. I hope you guys are having an absolutely beautiful day. Hello there from Long Beach. How are you doing today, Patricia? I hope you're doing well. Hi there, Dr. Prachi. Good to see you as well. Hope you guys are having an absolutely beautiful day. Hope you're enjoying your day thus far. Is there anything more to or different? I'm now reading right now for Dana. Hello there, Dana. Good to see you today. Thank you so much for your question. As it relates to your question here, I'm seeing, is there anything more or different that I need to do on my path in aligning? I am doubting the comfort that I am seeming to be gaining. That's actually okay. That's a very good feeling to be feeling, right? That point of comfort is good. We'll continue to move forward with that. Can I please get 3 cards for Dana right now as it relates to her own aligned path? 3 cards, please. Oh, you're so welcome, Deirdre. I deeply appreciate that. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, and I wish you the best of luck on your journey. Continuing now to Dana. As it relates to your own path in terms of alignment right now, I think that one of the things that is potentially requiring some point right now of calibration is remembering the obligations of the self versus some of the obligations of the energy around you right now. I'm actually seeing that there may be something that is effectively occurring right now that is sometimes creating a bit of these shifts, because while I am seeing that you are coming into a point of comfort for yourself at this moment, I feel like I'm seeing and recognizing that some of the places or spaces where you start to feel these overwhelms has to do with some of the energy that's external to you as it relates to their own sense of balance. I'm even getting a sense right now that there may be a lot of energy that depends on you to a certain degree for that their own level of stability. Now, one of the gifts that we start to realize and understand as we're on paths such as these is the fact that stability is something that we create from within. Often, prior to this point, we can often look at circumstances and situations and try to externalize what we need to put that point of stability on. Some energies are often still in that vibration. I feel like you're already doing a lot of this work in terms of understanding that that stability, to be able to find that point of stability, you need to find it internally. Because if you don't find it internally, then it doesn't really matter to a certain extent as much as to what's happening to you externally. You could have everything that you want in the world, but if you haven't found that internal sense of stability, it's always going to feel like you're at a point that you need more, or you're in a space of lack instead of fulfillment. I feel like one of the things that's actually a lot of work that you need to do on your path right now is effectively making sure that you find that point of balance. One of the major messages that we got for feminine energy coming out of the Venus in retrograde cycle was the ability, or the circumstances or situations that feminine often have these moments where they have a need or an ability to potentially overgive to circumstances and situations that do not give back in kind. I want you to remember right now that this is all about finding balance. And even for the self, that more than anything, the first directive that we have from Spirit and Oracle is always to make sure that we are maintaining our own sanctity of self, being able to refill our own cups, as it were. And I feel like this is effectively causing some branching off points right now, because it's not only affecting your own day-to-day practices to see how you can come into that space of not over-giving or finding that exhaustion point, but almost potentially having to recalibrate around some of the energy around you in terms of what you feel is balanced towards what you can give versus what you are getting back in kind at this time. I think that you need to continue to go forward on this path, and remember that I do feel like there is a bit of a leap of faith that you're taking at this time, but these new approaches are exactly what you need at this time, because I'm really seeing that there has been a lot of situations and circumstances from the past where you're kind of understanding that your own emotional overwhelm doesn't necessarily benefit anyone, because if you can't effectively take care of yourself, then you certainly can't take care of those energies that most depend on you for that same level of care. I do want to give you some bottom of the deck message, or something to keep in mind going forward from this point, and that is Eight of Swords in its reversal. Now, what I'm really seeing here is I feel like this is feeling somewhat overwhelming, because even as you're navigating some of this process, you're having to go through some of these hurdles as it relates to your own sense of self-limiting beliefs. There could even be feelings right now about not necessarily feeling like we're not necessarily knowing what that terrain is, because you're moving forward in such a new, unique perspective. But I also am seeing right now that this is exactly the advantage of your journey at this time. You're effectively paving the way for yourself, but a lot of this paving is going to feel like you're taking down a lot of these blockages that I'm seeing as it relates to self-limiting beliefs, self-limiting perspectives that are effectively going to free you as you continue to move forward from this point. Thank you so much, Dana, for having this reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing collect readings right now. If you'd like to have your question answered, just go ahead and put it in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer it for you. Welcome to everybody joining us today. I'm the Grey Strega. I hope you guys are having an absolutely beautiful day. Thank you so much, Dana, for the confirmation on the reading. I deeply appreciate you. And welcome to everybody joining us today. As I mentioned, if you'd like to find me online, you can always find me on YouTube and on TikTok. I'm Grey Strega. There's only one. I know that there's a lot of fake accounts pretending to be me, but it's Grey Strega, Greystrega. And you can also find me there for our daily collective readings, which we do every morning on the breakdown of the divine masculine and feminine energy, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. Hello there, Melvine. How are you doing today? I hope you're having an absolutely beautiful day. Going to take a minute to read over your question. Melvine says, my life has been turned upside down in the last 3 years. Am I on the right path? I'm so sorry that you've been experiencing that, but let's see if we can get some indications on what has been occurring on your life path at this time. May I please have 3 cards for Melvine, please? 3 cards for Melvine, and 1 more, please. Thank you so much. Well, Melvine, I'm certainly seeing here some of that feeling of disorder that's effectively coming into play right now. I'm also recognizing and identifying to a certain degree that there's something very important that's happening here as it relates to looking at the circumstances and situations that are around you right now. And I'm seeing here that you are doing a lot of work to try to facilitate a lot of care for the energies and the individuals around you at this time. More than anything right now, I want to kind of help you bring your focus in terms of, again, recognizing what you also need to be safe, seen, and supported. I'm almost getting some kind of sense here that you've come from some kind of experience or background that makes it kind of hard to be able to come into a space or place of of accepting that level of degree of care and support from others. I'm almost getting a sense right now that you yourself are so used to being in that caretaker role that it's hard for you to kind of accept it back in kind. I really want you to put a lot of care and orientation right now on the energy and the individuals that are around you. Specifically asking yourself and looking to recognize those energies that truly are trying to come towards you in these moments of difficulty as it relates to providing you the emotional support, the spiritual support, that level of empathy and care that I see that you are also so capable of giving to other individuals at this time. I'm also recognizing right now that there is something about some of the energy around you right now that I feel like that some of these difficulties or hurdles are effectively springing from. This could have to do with issues related to lack of communication, an ability not to understand where you effectively are, or even an ability right now in terms of not necessarily feeling like they are in alignment with you at this moment. What I really want to stress for you at this time is, again, there's a vital difference between energy that can't effectively support themselves, energy that is in need of care. We're speaking specifically about younger energy children versus energy that doesn't necessarily feel like they're bringing in those positive situations, those positive circumstances, that positive feedback that I feel like you effectively need at this moment. I feel like a lot of this work that you're experiencing right now as it relates to some of these difficulties or hurdles has to do with kind of being able to meet people where they are, and understanding that not everyone is going to basically be at the same level or degree of care and empathy that you yourself are able to express going forward from this point. Recognizing this is really going to help you right now, because I feel like there is this moment where I feel like you're almost seeing this like limitation and blockage as it relates to some of the energy around you that you're looking to be able to assist or provide some level of support or care from. But also recognizing and identifying that you have effectively done all you can is also effectively helping you at this point. And more than anything, I'm really getting that the major message from Spirit right now is do not be afraid of accepting that level of care and support in kind. That is not a selfish act. And if anything, I feel like these moments, and I need to stress this, difficult circumstances do not change people. They reveal people. And I feel like one of the gifts that's effectively happening for you right now, even during this difficult moment on your path, is helping you really orient and understand the energy that you feel is truly moving with you as it relates to your own level of care and empathy. Bottom of the deck at this time, we have here our Temperance in its reversal. I'm almost feeling like one of the issues that you're experiencing right now has to do with the feeling of time. You may be feeling right now that you've kind of found your path a little bit later, or feeling this point of anxiety in terms of like what you need to do and the time that you have to do it. I really want you to pace yourself. Remember that as long as you are focusing on what your priority is at this time, not allowing yourself to feel that point of overwhelm, giving yourself that pacing, you're going to be able to find that time. This is almost like this point of like being able to find that internal point of slowness, and recommending and understanding that you in a way have to set your own time, and that those around you that are working in your benefit will also effectively see you there and work with you in that same capacity. Thank you so much, Melvine, for being here and receiving these messages. And if you're joining us here today, I hope you're having a beautiful day. And if this message also connected to you, thank you. It's very common for those who are here to also need these messages. I would like to thank everybody joining us today. As I mentioned, I'm the Grey Strega. We are doing personal readings right now. If you have a question, just go ahead and put it in the comments. And welcome to everybody today. Hi there, Reagan. How are you doing today? Hello there from Australia. Absolutely happy to give you some guidance in this moment. Thank you so much. Again, sending you so much support. I'm so sorry that you're experiencing some difficulties or hurdles right now. May I please have 3 cards for Reagan, please? 3 cards for Reagan. We've got 1 here. May I please have 2 more? 2 more cards, please. And 1 more card. Thank you so much. Reagan, what am I seeing here? Reagan, I'm seeing here, I definitely feel like there's some issues or circumstances that are effectively coming through right now as it relates to your own ability. And I feel like one of the things that's coming through as a bit of a challenging point right now has to do with your own ability to contribute to circumstances or situations. I'm seeing here that there may have been some financial setbacks that have been in place, or some kind of anxiety as it relates to your feeling of stability at this moment. I really kind of am seeing here that one of the things that I want to stress for you at this time is there's a lot of framing in terms of your own journey at this moment and building some new architecture around yourself. Specifically, I am seeing that something in the next 3 months is all about a point of recalibration. And I think that one of the things that I'm really getting right now from spirit is really making sure that you're manifesting and orienting on this aspect, that this isn't necessarily a circumstance or situation where something is being taken from you, but there's an opportunity right now that I'm actually seeing for something new to be built in the wake of some kind of setback or hurdle or challenge. It is requiring, I am seeing here, it is requiring some difficult decisions, but I'm actually identifying and seeing that something about this experience has actually shifted your own priorities. There may have even been a moment during this that you've kind of experienced that something was effectively removed, but that has helped you build a deeper understanding of what it is that you truly want to create in the space of it. Again, we have these moments, and I'm almost feeling here that this was like one of these things that kind of feels like the rug was kind of pulled out from under you. But I'm also getting here that something about this 3-month process that I'm identifying that you're going through right now is really kind of completely recalibrating where you are in your life at this time. And what you're building in this moment is actually going to be much stronger from where you came prior to this. Because the major message that I'm seeing on this life path at this time, and this is why I see that there's some kind of shift in priorities that's effectively occurring, is something about that point of stability being taken so abruptly has been that point of understanding that you yourself are effectively working through at this time. I'm really seeing that this is a moment that you're even potentially building something for yourself at this moment, or putting a lot of concentration on something that you can create with your own hands, specifically because of some of this experience that you're navigating at this time. One of the major things that I'm seeing here is one of the reasons that this is happening effectively right now is that you are in a space or place where you are making very sound judgments. I want you to remember and rely upon that, trusting in your own self, trusting in your own sense of judgment, and allowing that to be your method as you go forward from this point. I do want to give you some bottom of the deck message or something to keep in mind as you go forward from this point. Again, I'm getting very, very strong energy as it relates to 3 months. We've got heavy 3 energy coming through right now, both in the cards and the bottom of the deck right now. I think one of the hard things about this too is not only is whatever this shift that's occurred right now, the situation or circumstance that really kind of made cause for like a very abrupt course correction, if you will, is it's not just necessarily around the actual point of stability, but it's also seemingly like it's coming through right now as it relates to some of the energy that's around you at this time. There may even be a feeling, again, that whatever this was, this is feeling like a big life shift. It's almost like not only is it affecting or impacting your own sense of stability at this time, but it's also like reorienting the energy that you're bringing with you along the way. If this is something that you're experiencing, I think that this is something that's very normal and common to see at points like this on life paths, because what we're really seeing is like your own set of needs has shifted. And as a result, I am almost seeing that there's a disconnection point between what you are currently experiencing versus what those around you may be experiencing. Allow this to be a remembering that this isn't a moment that you're effectively shedding energy without anything coming in its wake. I feel like this is actually coming through as like an orientation of like new possibilities, new connections as you move forward in this way. Thank you so much again. And you are absolutely worthy. And I feel like one of the things that's coming through right now on your path right now is remembering to trust your judgment, to put a lot of focus on what you're trying to create for yourself at this time. Use this time. And again, I'm seeing something about this 3-month period that you find yourself in at this moment, really being a point, an orientation to help you build a new foundation going forward. Thank you so much, Reagan, for having that reading with me, and I wish you the best of luck on your journey. For anyone else who's joining us today, we are doing life path readings. I hope you're having an absolutely beautiful day. If this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who are here to also receive these messages and need them as well. So thank you as well for being here and receiving these messages. Hello there, Kim. Hope you are having an absolutely beautiful day. Wishing you so much support. I'm so sorry that your husband is experiencing that right now. Can I please get 3 cards for Kim? 3 cards for Kim, please. We've got 1 card out. May I please have 2 more cards? Thank you. And 1 more card for Kim. Oh, Kim. Kim, You know, I'm actually seeing here that there's a moment right now, and I'm seeing that one of the hurdles and challenges is that something that is effectively occurring right now as it relates to this path has to do with some sense of imbalance. This could be really coming to the surface. Something to the surface is effectively rising up right now that needs to be faced. But I need to stress to you that when we have these hurdles, when we have these challenges, those moments, those points of understanding and identifying unhealed karmic connections, unhealthy modes of thought, any unhealed coping mechanisms, bad modalities of thoughts, when we come to the moment of really facing them, it's creating an opportunity to heal them. Now, one of the things that I'm seeing right now as it relates to this path is that there's something that's really rising to the surface here that needs to be navigated. I also stress that when we start to hit this type of energy right now, it can feel very challenging. There sometimes is this moment between this feeling of understanding something that we feel drawn to, something that we feel that we need to be able to support ourselves, versus something that we understand ultimately doesn't necessarily feel like it gives back to us. This is a lot of that speaking again towards unhealthy coping mechanisms, bad modalities of thought. I'm seeing a lot about the fact that this energy is struggling with a lot of this. There could even be a lot of repass calibration, feeling some point of frustration about not being able to come to this correction point sooner rather than later. For me, the most important challenge during this time is recognizing that some changes need to occur. And I am also seeing potentially right now, there may even need to be some understanding between what someone feels that they enjoy versus what is most beneficial for them in the long run. Because I am kind of seeing some kind of connection here to energy that, again, it's that movement right now into, it's almost like, again, and I'm actually kind of getting some of this as well. It's almost like that point of understanding that something that one could have done a lot in the past that felt like it was a source of positivity is now starting to take its toll to a certain degree. This is giving me a lot of hard decisions that need to be made right now. And I need to kind of orient and help that energy understand that this shift isn't moving one away from something that they need or desire. I need to actually say that the most successful way through this path right now is not necessarily taking something out of one's life. It's not necessarily just removing something, but putting something there in its place, if you will. I'm almost seeing that there's a lot right now on this path about finding positive replacements for things that are now being identified as unhealthy to a certain extent. So again, and this has to do with, again, if this is thought patterns, replacing a bad thought pattern with a more positive thought pattern. If this has to do with something in relation to unhealthy coping mechanisms, this is potentially taking an unhealthy coping mechanism, not just withdrawing from it entirely, but replacing it with something that feels like it is just as substantial. And even bad modalities of thought. This is going to require, again, a lot of, again, I think that this is the important thing. This energy is looking at this right now like her life is getting curtailed. But I think that this isn't a removal, but a replacement process is going to kind of bring back that sense of joy that's going to help them kind of support it as they proceed forward on. I do want to give you some bottom of the deck. And so something just as you go forward from this point, you know, I think that there's something that's effectively happening as it relates to the anxiety about one's ability to work or function. There may be something that is occurring right now that is not just the fact that something is being faced in this way, but there may be something about how it's impacting their own day-to-day life or the work that that this is even more of a reason right now, especially if some of this is feeling like it's hard to remove oneself from, because it may even have to do with the environment wherein one works with. Being able to find those spaces and places of finding positive reinforcements, positive alternatives, positive substitutes, instead of just kind of like removing what isn't working, is really going to help this path as they continue forward from this point. Thank you again, Kim, for having this reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you'd like to join and have a question answered, just go ahead and put it in the comments. I'm the Grey Strega. I'm so happy to be here with you today, and I hope you are all doing well. Thank you again, Kim, for having that reading with me, and I wish you the best of luck on your journey. Hello there. Absolutely beautiful day. So glad to see you. Okay, sorry about that. Guys, I do hear that we're having some connectivity. It's going to take a moment to make sure that me. Apologies for that. Just bear with us one moment as we navigate them. Hello there, Kim. Thank you so much for being here and receiving these messages. Happy to give you some insight in terms of guidance as it relates to jobs. Can I please get 3 cards for Kim right now in relation to job, please? We got 2 cards out. Can I please have one more? Thank you so much. Excellent. Understand. Thank you so much, Kim, for having this reading with me. And again, I wish you the best of luck on your journey. Now, for the Kim who is asking questions in relation to job, I'm seeing here that there's something that's effectively creating a bit of a shift right now. I'm seeing that there's something here that, like, something related to your job. There's something about your own perspective shifting. And I feel like that perspective that I'm seeing shifting right now has to do with your long-term manifestation goals. I'm seeing effectively that there's something that you're now kind of looking at right now as it relates to your job and your long-term manifestation goals that feel like they're not necessarily in alignment. I'm actually seeing right now that there's almost this like point of catharsis trying to reach, that you're actually trying to find that like midway point, because something about right now, as it relates to the career or the job right now, it's almost the anxiety in terms of whether it's actually going to be something that you can do in the long term or something that is going to become more difficult as you proceed forward from this point. I'm also seeing here, I feel like there's something that's effectively happening within you right now that is potentially also like changing your focus or changing your concentration, as it were. I'm actually seeing that there may even be like some kind of deeper orientation that's coming into the fold right now as it relates to wanting to do something in the avenue or perspective of healing. Like this is almost like a twofold path that I'm recognizing or identifying right now. It's almost like it's what's really happening, and I feel like I'm seeing this here. It's like your benchmark has effectively changed. It's not so much the fact of kind of being in a work right now, but I feel like there's some kind of degree that you're now reaching where it's like you want that work to be having a positive impact, not just on yourself, but on the energy around you. And I'm almost seeing here that there may be some point that you're identifying some kind of shift as it relates to your career focus right now to something that feels like it's more in the capacity or magnitude of healing in some degree, either something that is healing for yourself or healing for those around you. I do see the fact, though, that right now there is this like point of imbalance because I feel like there is this difficulty or hurdle that's feeling more like a blockage than it does feel like a path. For me, the hardest thing that I'm identifying right now is the fact that there's something that you feel like it's not necessarily as easy to walk away from because you don't necessarily see what that path is looking like in the long term. One of the things I might try to advise you to do right now is really start to explore what I'm actually seeing here as it relates to what is going to bring you back into your manifestation goals. I really want you writing a lot during this time. I want you to kind of do this like forwards, backwards. I want you to think about where you really see yourself again in 10, in 20 years. What does that look like? Where do you see yourself? What are you doing? Where is this point of optimism coming through? And I feel like being able to take that from that point and recalibrate this is going to start to help you lay this path, because I do see the fact that for me, there's almost like a recognized departure point that you want to make at this time. It's more about the planning in terms of how you shift from one to another. That is a bit of that challenge. But again, I'm almost seeing here that they have some kind of benefit at time for you to decide. This isn't something that you need to do overnight. I'm actually identifying that this is something right now that you can effectively do by degrees. And doing that research right now, starting to build that plan for you, is going to help you navigate this shift as you go forward from this point. I do want to give you some bottom of the deck information, so just something to keep in mind as you go forward from this point. I think it's really interesting because I feel like a lot of the energy or the anxiety that you're effectively having right now has less to do with your own determination in terms of what you want to move into right now, but more about the excitement or the anxiety of some of the energy that is associated to you at this point. There may even be some energy right now where you're potentially even bringing this up or starting to talk about this with, and you're identifying their own anxiety as it relates to this right now. I think more than anything, especially if you're experiencing any kind of energy that is in this modality, that again, the best thing you can do at this time is start to lay some of that plan out, because I feel like some of this energy around you at this time, they're kind of feeling, they're seeing that you're in this space of shifting, but they don't necessarily see the fact that you have like that full plan laid out. So I think that the more that you're able to, because I'm getting that this energy here that's kind of moving towards you or is in some kind of supportive modality is someone that like really relies upon a plan, going forward. So the more that you're able to articulate upon this plan, I feel like the more you're going to see that support coming forward. Because I'm not necessarily seeing that this energy is not on board with what you want to do. I feel like they're just a little bit nervous about your own uncertainty as it relates to how to effectively do it. This could be even asking this energy for some insight as you continue forward from this point. Thank you so much for having this reading with me, Kim. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. Welcome to everybody joining us today. I'm the Grey Strega. We are doing personal life path readings. If you have a question you'd like me to answer, just go ahead and put it in the comments. I hope you guys are having an absolutely beautiful day. Hope you are enjoying your day so far. And again, welcome to everybody joining us. If you'd like to find me beyond this reading, you can always find me over on TikTok. I am Grey Strega. You can also book a private reading with me on my website, greystrega.com. My private readings are done over video, and I always appreciate that. I do a lot of different options in terms of time, and again, giving you guidance as it relates to your life path, any questions that you may have. We're going to continue right now. Hello there, Terry. Welcome from Indiana. So good to see you today. Thank you so much. Hi there, Teresa. Thank you for joining and also being here and experiencing these messages. Welcome to everybody joining us today. Hi there, Haley. Good to see you as well. As I mentioned, we are doing readings right now. If you have a question you would like me to answer, go ahead and put in the questions. I'm happy to answer it for you. All right, guys, we are going to take a brief break, but we will be back on shortly. Thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you soon.
Join us at the Bognor Regis Spiritualist Center for a captivating mediumship demonstration on Saturday, the 11th November from 7:30 p.m. Experience an evening of connection with the spiritual realms, featuring the talents of Bill Hughes, David Hale, and Caroline Johnson. For more information and to book tickets, please visit bognorspiritualistcenter.co.uk.
The SPTV Divine Guidance Oracle Pack, a unique blend of inspiration and artistic beauty. Our captivating set of 78 cards combines the power of ancient archetypes, celestial guidance, and the essence of life itself to provide you with a unique tool for self-discovery, clarity, and transformation, all lovingly housed within an exclusive rigid box. The pack includes a booklet that delves into every card in detail, some of which carry dual meanings for deeper interpretation. The booklet also features 8 distinctive card spread layouts. Among these treasures, you'll discover 22 major arcana, 9 main archangels, 4 elements, and 40 life cards, each a work of art, radiating beauty and delivering profound messages that resonate deeply within your being. The SPTV Divine Guidance Pack, where beauty meets enlightenment. Pre-order today and unlock the extraordinary wisdom that awaits you. To be among the pioneers in experiencing our forthcoming collection and to reserve your pack in advance, as well as to access more details, including a sample audio description, kindly visit sptv.uk/cards. Tomorrow from 6 p.m. UK time, Paul Bannister joins us for his live interview and talk show, Spiritual Talk.
Join Bill Hughes during his Collective Consciousness show tomorrow night from 8 p.m. Bill is joined by different guests offering a demonstration of mediumship.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you guys so much for being here. Just a reminder, I'm so glad to be here and sharing time with you today on Spiritual Psychics TV. Again, for anybody joining us today, I'm the Grey Strega. I am a claircognizant tarot reader based in the United States. Happy to be doing readings for you today. We just did a reading for Kim. Kim, thank you so much. I saw that you confirmed the reading about trying to move into the health and healing services. I always appreciate when you guys confirm the messages that I'm receiving. receiving. Wishing you so much support on that journey, and thank you for having that reading with me today. We are going to go move forward right now. Next person on the list is Melody. Hello there, Melody. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing in these messages. All right, we've got a message from Melody right now. Is there a technique to expand intuition and open the third eye? Can I please get some insight for Melody as it relates to enhancing their own intuitive journey at this time? Thank you so much. We've got 4 cards out today. We're going to read all of them right now to see what we are finding. You know, it's really interesting right now. What I'm actually seeing as it relates to your particular path right now, Melody, is I'm actually identifying that there's something here about a lot of the work that you're effectively doing right now that feels like it is very much a solo journey to a certain extent. I feel like it's almost like you're kind of hitting this like wall to a certain degree as it relates to like your own journey and what you're effectively finding right now versus what I think in a way that you feel like you can verify. One of the things that's very important sometimes, especially when we're working to expand our intuition and open our third eye, is the fact that we often have these moments of self-doubt that we may experience on this path because we're asking ourselves if the validation or the verification that we're receiving is in fact something that is valid, because we are the ones that are solely experiencing this. For you, I'm actually seeing that one of the suggestions that's coming through right now as it relates to your path is potentially trying to branch out and open this to more of a group of individuals that are similarly inclined to doing this work right now. Because this is that point that I'm actually seeing that you are effectively in this moment on your own journey, that you need to start to get some validation. And I have to stress, as anyone who works in the healing arts, as anyone who works on their spiritual journey can tell you, hitting that moment between the work that you do for yourself versus what you start doing for other people, it can feel very daunting. It can feel very anxiety inducing because it's almost like a muscle that you're learning to exercise. And it's like something that you get better with the more that you do it. It's also really important because, again, I'm getting something that's very key about the fact that you pick up very closely to other people's energy. I'm almost seeing like to a certain extent, you have this ability of kind of being able to come into that point of intuition with the energy that's around you right now. This is actually giving me further validation that to be able to potentially even find, and again, if you're feeling this anxiety in doing this, potentially you don't need to like take this and like just like use this as like an opportunity to just say, oh, I'm going to just offer my services to like anyone, but instead potentially try to find some like-minded peers that are similarly interested and invested in doing similar work for one another, to be able to start to try to navigate this and effectively create a point, like almost like a validation point between other energy, between what you are effectively channeling and experiencing, to be able to get that point of verification, that evidence, as you were, towards those energies. I feel like this is almost something that like you could reciprocate to them in kind that will help you further yourself on this journey. I do want to give you, I also am seeing here that there's a strong message that's coming through right now as it relates to making sure that you are recording your dreams. I'm kind of getting some kind of insight right now that you have some kind of strong guided connection to something that is happening in your dream space. This could even be some guides that are trying to send you messages through there. So I want you to be paying a lot of attention right now to make sure that you're keeping something near your bedside to be able to write down anything that you're experiencing once you wake up from the dream state. Bottom of the deck message for this read right now is, it's going to get easier. You know, one of the things that I think that is happening right now is the fact that like there's something here that I feel like it's a big hurdle. You know, I'm almost seeing here that like this is almost something that you're pushing against very hard right now. And you're like pushing yourself and you're pushing yourself, you're pushing yourself. One of the things that you're effectively trying to reach right now is going to be more of a flow state. Like, again, this is more, it's not necessarily, I need to stress, doing this kind of work, it doesn't have to feel like a bench press. It has to feel more like a yoga exercise. The goal isn't to push yourself really hard. It's to come into a state where you can find that flow state more easily. How do we, like much like we would with something that is a flow state, how do we find a flow state? Do we do it by like pushing as hard as we can against something? No, we do it via repetition. We do it versus increments. And some days it's going to feel much harder. Some days it's going to feel almost impossible, but it's that movement and that understanding that sometimes even in those moments that you feel that pushback, sometimes the pushback is the message. Thank you so much, Melody, for having this reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it is very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. Welcome to everybody joining us today. I'm the Grey Strega. So happy to be here with you today and joining you and having the opportunity to answer your questions. We're going to move on right now. We've got Kim. Hello there, Kim Michelle. Good to see you today. First time, welcome. Hello from New Zealand. Purposely single for 16 years and someone has appeared as twin flame. Is that your guy? Okay, well, first of all, we're going to start here, which is I am not a twin flame reader, but I will point out, and I will go into detail if you'd like about why that is the case. I will say here that we will identify the karmic connection to identify what is effectively going on with the karmic connection. May I please get 3 cards for Kim as it relates to this energy? Can I please have 3 cards on what is going on with this karmic energy? Thank you so much. So, Kim, what I'm effectively seeing here right now is I'm actually seeing that there's something about this that like it does kind of feel like a dam that's being kind of like pushed forward. It's actually interesting because I feel like there's something about you having tried to give yourself this space or this place. And I feel like it's almost like it's actually like almost coming through, like almost like feeling like a little bit of humor coming into this like connection, because I feel like it's like this moment that you are literally trying to create this space for yourself, almost like committing yourself to the path of not having that type of connection. What should pop up but a connection like this? And I feel like it is kind of creating a bit of a struggle point for you at this time, because I am seeing that there's something here that is like really speaking to the fact that there is something here in this connection that needs to be pushed forward. I'm identifying right now that there's some kind of mutual connection that is coming into play here as it relates to passion, to creativity, to feeling that energetic spark here. And I'm almost seeing here that there's a point right now that feels like a bit of a blockage or hurdle, because it's almost like coming through as something that like feels like, and I think this is probably why you're articulating it as twin flame, because it's almost like creating, it's like the energy of this connection. It's giving me a lot of this bittersweet. It's giving me a lot of this feeling of like causing a lot of anxiety within you as you try to understand the connection. But at the same time, I'm seeing that it's leading to this like outburst of energy, like this outburst of creativity, of passion. One of the things I really want to stress right now is being able to utilize this and put this in productive ways. I'm actually seeing that something about this connection right now is feeling like both a challenge and an opportunity, because I am seeing here that while there is, and maybe even this feeling that may be happening right now in terms of feeling the frustration, there may even be a mutual frustration between you both as it relates to potentially meeting or as it relates to the timing. I'm almost seeing here that there's some mirroring that's happening between you both, like, wow, of all the times for this to happen, why is this happening now? But I think that more than anything, being able to focus on the positive right now, being able to really use this as some creative, passionate energy that is helping to both like fuel the connection itself. Because I see here that this connection is one that is very heavily built upon communication, and also finding productive ways to like channel that energy into your own lives at this time is going to help mitigate any of this feeling of frustration that you're potentially experiencing. Because I am seeing that as it relates to the karmic connection between you both right now, there is some kind of energetic alignment as it relates to that spark of creativity and passion. If you want to identify or articulate that as twin flame, I suppose you could. But I think more than anything, it is understanding and identifying, because some people don't necessarily see twin flames like this, that this is really giving me an energy of like amazing creative and passionate output, and being able to channel that in positive, productive ways going forward is going to have to basically be that point of articulation as to whether this feels like it is a benefit, or if it could start to feel like a detriment if you're not necessarily able to channel that energy effectively. I do want to give you a bottom of the deck information, so something to keep in mind as you go forward from this point. I feel like the distance is a problem. There's already something that's effectively coming up that's creating some of this like push pull, because I see here that something about the hurdle and the challenge as it relates to the locationality is immediately presenting these hurdles and these challenges. I'm also seeing here that there's something potentially related to the ability to travel. I don't know if one of you or the other is kind of blocked from being able to move to the other one, but I feel like that this distance, and again, this is why I want to make sure that you're channeling this into positive, productive ways, can either be used and objectively seen as a detriment, or it can be used as a source of inspiration to kind of allow yourself to identify and find what creative opportunities that you can create in the space in between. Thank you so much, Kim, for having this reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you'd like to have your question answered, just go ahead and put it in the comments. For any of you joining us today, hello, I am the Grey Strega. I am a claircognizant tarot reader based in the United States. If you'd like to find me beyond this location, you can always find me and book a reading on my website, greystrega.com. You can also join me most mornings around 9 a.m. Eastern on TikTok at Grey Strega, where we do our daily collective energy updates for both masculine and feminine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel is most aligned to. If you would like to see some of those daily collective readings that I do, you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Grey Strega, where we post those daily. Welcome, Dr. Prachi. How are you doing today? Hope you are having an absolutely beautiful day. Reading over your question right now, we see standing on forked roads about my career. Currently planning on expansion, so is this the right step to take or should I wait? May I please have 3 cards for Prachi as it relates to the journey on the career path? Thank you so much. What do we have coming through right now? So what I'm seeing right now, Dr. Prachi, is I'm effectively identifying that there's something here. And I don't know if there's some kind of companionate energy around you right now, but I feel like there's something here about your own limitations as it relates to how you want to grow versus how someone else wants to grow. I'm almost seeing here that there needs to be some like point of collaboration that's effectively being reached here. Because for me, I'm really seeing that there's some kind of limitation, and this may have to do with some of that collaborative energy. There may be a moment right now that you're effectively identifying that you need to potentially, when you say to me expansion, I'm not necessarily seeing even the fact that this is expansion of the self, but this may necessarily need to require you to bring in some outside support. But what's interesting about this outside support that I'm effectively identifying right now is this isn't necessarily coming through right now as someone who is going to take on the small stuff. I'm actually seeing that this is someone that is coming through more as a peer, someone who feels like they're in alignment with you. They're effectively at the same level, someone that you can effectively strategize so that you can actually plan that expansion, plan that growth. Because I'm seeing here that one of the hurdles and difficulties is that you are very, very focused on what you do and what you do well. There is something here that I'm seeing that is becoming more and more of a challenge because there's some kind of point that you're identifying. And this is what I need to stress. It's not just the fact that you want to expand, but I'm also seeing here that some of the places and spaces that you want to expand, they're not necessarily your forte. They're not necessarily spaces or places, and I need to stress this. It's not just the fact that they're not your forte, but it's also coming through as something that feels like it's not necessarily something that you feel inclined to do. It's not something that you feel like it's desired to do, because I really am seeing here that there's something that's coming into play about your true passion and wanting to focus on your passion. One of the reasons I'm seeing that you kind of want to bring some of this collaborative energy in, if you will, is because you're starting to look at some of these opportunities of expansion as feeling like they're also creating a bit of detriment, because they're effectively almost creating a space or place that's distracting you from the thing that you know that you are very good at. This is what I would effectively say right now if you're experiencing this and this message is aligning to you. I want you to kind of recognize, to stay like that. There's almost like something energetically I'm seeing right now from spirit that's effectively arguing and verifying and saying like, you need to stick to your wheelhouse. You need to continue to improve and grow in terms of what you do. Finding someone who would be able to match as a counterpart energy right now to help facilitate in that capacity, not just expanding what you do, but taking over a lot of the strategizing, taking over a lot of the communication. I'm effectively seeing all of that stuff. I need to stress that you feel is like busy work, that you feel is like a distraction. There is definitely someone near you that feels like that is their passion. That is what they're good at. So what do we do when we find ourselves in these moments? We don't necessarily try to split ourselves in two and do something that we don't do well as we can. This is really saying to me that finding that counterpart energy of someone who can literally take this off of your hands so that you can continue to focus and grow, but instead they can take what you're doing and be able to disseminate it to as many people as possible in the most like productive, functional ways, is going to be the best path going forward. I do want to give you some bottom of the deck information, so something to keep in mind as you go forward from this point. Again, there is something here. I'm almost seeing that there's something about your path prior to this, like almost like the whole reason you chose this path to a certain degree was effectively because there was something about the solitude of it that you appreciated. You liked it about that. That was like the whole reason you focused on it. I want you to kind of recognize and understand, even as you move into this like modality, I don't think that this is something that you're effectively going to have to sacrifice. In fact, this is being able to find energy that respects and appreciates your own need of solitude, potentially even requiring a certain level or degree of solitude. This is actually like finding a collaborative energy that's effectively going to help carve out the space so that you can have more of that. So don't necessarily look at this as a point that you're sacrificing this for this. It's more of a point that you're finding someone who's going to advocate to help you carve out that space for yourself as you go forward from this point. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. As I mentioned, we are doing personal readings right now. Welcome to everybody joining us. I'm Grey Strega. If you have a question you would like me to answer, go ahead and put it in the comments. If you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, greystrega.com. My private readings are done over video. And again, welcome to everybody joining us today. Hope you are having an absolutely beautiful day. Also, if you would like to find me on TikTok, you can find me Grey Strega. Every morning we do our daily collective energy update there for both masculine and feminine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. We are going to continue right now. Hello there, Krish. Hope you are having an absolutely beautiful day. Lots of love from South Africa. Thank you so much for sharing us there, for being there with us today. And I hope you're having a beautiful day. Hello there, Lisa. Hope you are having a beautiful day, starting a new path on Monday, and I'm wondering if it's the right one. You're so welcome, Lisa. Can I please have 3 cards for Lisa right now on guidance as it relates to the path that is moving forward on Monday? 3 cards for Lisa, please. First card we are pulling, second and third, please. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, these cards are all beautiful, Lisa. Absolutely. I'm seeing here, for me, one of the important things that I'm identifying right now as it relates to this path that you're moving forward with is not just the fact that you are moving forward towards it. I'm seeing here that there's something about the collaborative energy that you're going to be meeting on this path that is really helping you in this way. Something about this is saying to me that this isn't necessarily something that you're effectively feeling like you need to do alone at this point, but rather this is almost like feeling like you're finding a lot of that collaborative energy right now to help push you forward on that path going forward. I'm seeing here that there's a lot of ambition and a lot of excitement around this, specifically because I'm seeing that there's something about this that is almost like creating a space or place for you to really grow as it relates to your own ability to create and to communicate. These are, to me, are really your focus and your passion right now. There's something right now about feeling like you're effectively coming into a space or place where you're really going to be able to channel like some of that inspirational energy that you're effectively finding at this time. I'm also seeing, and I need to kind of recognize at this point, this is almost feeling like a point that is very critical and fundamental as it relates to your life path. There could even be a point right now in recognizing that this is not necessarily something that you were ready to move into prior to this point. I feel like a lot of the work that you've done prior to this moment has effectively prepared you for what you're going to encounter at this time. Because I will stress that there is something about this path that needs to be taken into consideration. This is, again, there's almost something coming through right now as it relates to advocacy, is what I'm really seeing. It's relating to advocacy. It's really coming through right now in the fact of not just kind of having an idea or an inspiration, but really kind of being able to push it forward, even against, I'm seeing, even against some energy that may kind of create, I want to say, a challenging space for those creative ideas and inspiration to occupy. This is why I'm seeing right now that there's something that's so vital as it relates to your own path at this time. Because I'm almost seeing that while you may have had that point of spark prior to this, you may not necessarily have felt secure or ready enough prior to this moment to be able to be in a space or place where not only could you kind of present these ideas, present this communication, but be in a space or place where you're actually willing to like really kind of like fight for them and advocate for them. This is kind of like what I feel like a lot of your path has been building you up to prior to this point. I do want to give you some bottom of the deck information, so just something to keep in mind as you go forward from here, and that is judgment. I feel like that there's one thing about this right now that may be feeling a little overwhelming, because I feel like you may potentially be moving right now into a space or place where there's going to have to be a lot of decisions that are effectively reached. I'm even seeing here that there may be something about the weight and value of the choices that you're making at this time, where you're recognizing and seeing and identifying that they're not just having an impact on yourself, but in the energy that's around you. This could even be talking right now into moving into a role right now where you have to kind of feel like, again, I'm seeing here, when you're kind of working right now, again, as it relates to a message, to an idea, to an inspiration, being very mindful and cognizant right now as it relates to your choices going forward from this point. Because I feel like there's something that almost feels like you're growing as it relates to the choices that you're making personally right now, having some kind of impact on the situations and scenarios as a whole that is having that deeper meaning. For me, this is saying don't let yourself feel that point of anxiety as it relates to the choices that you need to make at this moment. Trust yourself, trust your path, allow yourself to come into alignment. And even when you're experiencing some moments right now of having to experience some of that oppositional space, as it were, I want you to really be very conscientious about your reactivity point. Remember, we can't necessarily control the energy that comes towards us. We can affect it, we can alchemize it and turn it into something productive. And I think that being able to understand that right now, taking anything that feels like it is harsh judgment on what you're trying to present and refocusing it into something that feels positive is also why you're moving on this path, because you have this ability and degree to do so. Don't forget that. Thank you so much, Lisa, for being here and receiving these messages. And if this message connected to you as well, welcome. Thank you so much for also receiving these messages. We are doing personal readings right now. Absolutely beautiful day. And again, guys, thank you so much. It looks like we've reached the conclusion of our readings for today. And again, I just want to thank you guys so much. I would love to thank Psychics TV for having me here today. It has been an absolute pleasure and joy to be able to share my gift with all of you. I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. Again, if you'd like to find me, you can find me and book a private reading on my website, greystrega.com. Also, if you'd like to find me for our daily collective readings, you can find me on TikTok, Grey Strega, as well on Instagram. I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of each other and be well.